Yo, what's going on, everybody? Derek here, bringing you day 30 of the 31 Days of Horror. We're closing in at the end of this series, and like I've been saying, it's been really interesting, like these films that I haven't seen before, and been watching and really enjoying pretty much all of them. Some of them are like, have their audience, of course, and this one is no exception, but I will get into that when I do my thoughts on this film. Day 30 is going to be a little special because I decided to do it in honor of the Queen of Horror herself, Barbara Steele, by doing one of her most memorable roles that I haven't seen before, and I just watched it, and I have a lot to talk about it. And it goes by the title of Nightmare Castle. With this awesome edition that Severin Films put out, which is pretty dope. It comes with two other films starring Barbara Steele, of course. It's Castle of Blood and Terror Creatures from the Grave, which is a film I haven't seen yet, but I haven't seen Nightmare Castle, and I wanted to check that one out. So, you never know. Maybe in the future I'll do Terror Creatures from the Grave. Not in this series, but because I already have a film picked out for the finale, and you'll see what that is, and I'll kind of tell you about it at the end of this episode. And yeah, getting the plot of this, it's directed by Mario Ciano, who's an Italian director I haven't really known any of his work, really, to be sad. But I just know that he actually passed away this year, so rest in peace to him. And it's a really interesting film, this film, and he did a really good job directing it. I'll give you that much. Now, the main plot of this one, it's a very complex, slow burning story. It starts out with meet our few characters, Mariel, who's played by Barbara Steele, and her husband Samuel, who's a doctor. He actually does some very strange experiments in his laboratory. And what happens one night is Samuel's going away on like this trip for his experiments, like some studying or something. So he ends up leaving and find out Mariel's actually having an affair with the gardener that works in this castle and works for her husband. And what happens is they end up going to the greenhouse and making love, but unbeknownst to them, Samuel actually was catching on to them having this affair and stayed behind and actually catches them in the act. So what happens is he ends up capturing them and starts torturing them and pretty much ends up killing them, and he actually takes their blood to unage his other servant Solange, who's like, you'll see her in the film, she starts out like kind of like an old lady, but after this blood transfusion she gets younger and younger, so he uses their blood to keep her young. It's very weird. They have like this weird like love relationship going on. So yeah, what ends up happening after he kills Muriel and David, that's the gardener's name, he finds out that the estate is actually in name to her sister Jenny, who's been having issues with like mental issues and stuff. So what happens is Samuel ends up marrying Jenny to try to get this estate and all this, the money, and pretty much what happens is he tries to make her go insane. So she ends up in like the asylum and stuff. And then we're introduced to the other character in this film, Dr. Derek Joyce. I'm just going to call him Dr. Joyce because I don't want to sound like I'm talking about myself in the third person. So Dr. Joyce starts studying Jenny, and she finds out like there's something supernatural going on with her because she's actually saying that she is Muriel and hears Muriel's voice in her head and has dreams that involve like Muriel. And it's really like a complex story. It's kind of like a cat and mouse game in this film, but it has a gothic setting. It has supernatural themes that go out. The way I would describe it, like they're trying to find Dr. Joyce is trying to find out the mystery of what's happening to Jenny and what's going on with Samuel and Solange. Starting to figure out the MO and stuff, and Dr. Joyce and Samuel doesn't want that to happen because he doesn't want them to know that he murdered his wife and her lover. So it pretty much happens, it's like a cat and mouse game between those two throughout the film until this awesome climax happens. And that's all I'm going to give away in the plot of this film. Now, my thoughts on it. It's a very slow burn in a film. If you're not a fan of slow burns, it might scare you away because you might expect a lot of action, but there's actually a lot of like character development and cat and mouse going on in this film. The way I would describe it is like a psychological, supernatural, gothic horror film. It has a lot of psychological stuff going on in it. And it also has a lot of supernatural stuff going on, especially more towards the end of the film, but there's a lot more supernatural stuff going on also in like the dream sequences and stuff that happen in the film, which are very well done, and it's really like atmospheric too. I love the atmosphere of this film, especially with the setting in this castle, and these dream sequences are really atmospheric, and the nighttime shots. And I forgot to mention about this film, the score is very chilling, and it's from one of my favorite composers of all time, Ennio Morricone. It's actually his first horror score, and it's really like organ bass and like piano bass through parts and pretty much through the whole film. When the organ parts come, it's really during those atmospheric, like creepy moments, and it's really well done. And I forgot to mention that Jenny and Muriel are both played by Barbara Steele. She actually does a dual role in this film, and she's amazing in this film as both those characters. They're both different, and they have their own situations. Muriel, you don't really see that much in the film, but she plays a major part in the story of this film. And yeah, and I love how they like changed their hairs so they could tell that they're actually different characters and stuff. And they both do like a really good job in the film. Their characters, I mean, Barbara Steele is just amazing. In general, it's not her first time playing a dual role. I seen her in The Long Hair of Death. She played a dual role in that film too. And yeah, like if you like slow burn films, the major part of the slow burns for me is the ending must be really good and stuff, and have a good payoff to make you wait that long for like a slow build up film and stuff. And in my opinion, it does have a really good like payoff for it, and it might be a little outdated for some people though, because it is from 1965, but I think it still has effect, and Barbara Steele is just great, and I love one. So if you like older flicks and stuff and black and white films with great atmosphere, I highly recommend Nightmare Castle. If I had to rate it, I'm going to give it a solid 8.5 out of 10. It's an awesome, fun ride if you like slow burns and Barbara Steele and you're a big fan. I do highly recommend you grab the Blu-ray from Severin. It's really an awesome addition of this film, and the transfer is pretty damn good. So 8.5 out of 10 for Nightmare Castle. Awesome film. Love me some black and white films on Halloween. I'm glad I got to watch this one. Check it out. Alright guys, that's it I got for day 30. I'm losing count of the days. It's almost over. One more day and tomorrow's the big finale of Halloween. Well, the film I got picked out for you guys tomorrow actually takes place on Halloween. It's kind of a newer film, and it's French. That's all I'm going to give away about the film. You could figure out what it is at the end, or just wait for the review tomorrow. So, I'll see you then. Peace out.